I made a video that talked about geology, real geology, and silly geology. Silly geology, I showed you some snow and talked about how we can see the history of the last 2 weeks. But I want to look at this. This is not geology, but if we look at this, it says Chava Honai Nam Malen. Now what's interesting is Chava is the Persian word for coffee. But now in Tajikistan, people don't say Kava. They say coffee. Naan or non is a type of bread. So we can see here kind of the old real Persian word, but then the word coffee borrowed probably from Russian, maybe from English. Over here we see autorai. Auto is obviously auto for car. And it's quite possible that that was borrowed from English or from French into Russian, and then from Russian into Tajiki. But even in English, the automobile, auto is a Latin word, auto is a Greek word, and mobile is Latin. So even in English, we get these words from other languages. Over here, we see salon, krasot, koshonai, hush. I don't know what that is, but salon is from French into Russian, Russian into Tajiki. Krasoti to me sounds like a Russian word. So even here we can see not really geology, but we can see the history of words and how they've been borrowed. In Tajiki there's lots of words that are Persian, because Tajiki is one kind of Persian, like Farsi in Iran and Dari in Afghanistan. There's lots of words from Arabic, which makes sense because most people in Tajikistan, most Tajiki and Persian speakers are Muslim. There's lots and lots of words from Arabic. There's lots of words from Russian, and many of those Russian words came from French, and lots of those French words came from Latin. And even here, let's do one last one. This is magazai, which means store. And it's interesting because this is a very complex and interesting word. Magazai probably comes from, in English you think magazine, which is a newspaper, but in French, and I'm going to mispronounce this, magazine is a store. But that comes from an Arabic word which means a storehouse or a warehouse, a collection place. So what's interesting is this word, magaza, which is a common word in Tajiki, probably does not come directly from Arabic. It probably comes from Russian, which borrowed the word from French, which borrowed the word probably from Spanish, almacen, which borrowed the word from Arabic. So it's interesting that we can see all of these things and the history in even ordinary words. If you could make some videos where you live, maybe you can tell us about the words, where they come from, how they were borrowed, the differences that the words that old people use and young people use. All of this could be interesting for people around the world to see, to help us better understand how the world works.